Hi guys, it's Mark the Bowlerhat Farmer. How are we? I hope you're all well. We are at a secret location today, just outside Stroud. We are down here looking at a beautiful building and a 12-acre site, 13-acre site actually, which could potentially be a new farm shop and a market garden. We have been invited down to look at this with some other people, and it's very exciting, to be honest, to come and see these things and visit these things around the country. Um, One of the things I thought I'd talk about today, and I know I'm a bit behind schedule on this, but it's relevant that I do this talk today, really. Um, and I was going to talk about the electricity issue out in Portugal and Spain, and and, and how the solar farms and everything has completely failed the system, and how they're saying that we're going to dim out the sun, obviously, and we because they find that amusing, we're going to dim out the sun, and we are going to be in the position that we're going to somehow create more electricity by using less energy in a time when we need more energy because they're telling us to use electric cars. But so yeah, interesting. I was in Derbyshire the other day and they were looking at a site where they're now going to start putting in solar panels and start looking at this and just the devastation it's going to cause. I mean, okay, beautiful wild grasslands and beautiful pastures, and it struck me as being quite funny that all the nonsense what's going on at the minute. But one of the things I was going to talk about is, I don't know if you've seen, Katie Hopkins has done a video this morning about her going and walking herself around one of these big solar farms where they're now going to trash this beautiful valley. It's worth a look. Check out Katie Hopkins, and love or hate Katie, she's a great little advocate for the truth and for honesty coming out. And I think it's important that we recognise her braveness in all this. So we're down in Stroud tonight to do a speech. We're going to Cardiff tomorrow. Cardiff tomorrow is a whole different ball game. We're going to visit a site where they make fertiliser compost out of natural produce, shit basically, from what I understand, and they can take it and turn it into something really good for the soil in a very short space of time, which is what we need, because obviously what we're working against all the time is time. So if it takes us 2 or 3 years to break down compost to a state we can put it back into the soil, that doesn't bode very well if we're in a hurry, which we know as food shortages are prolonging at the minute. And whilst they are prolonged, there is an ever growing speed to everything what's happening, that those who think they're going to trash the food system, let's say, are running out of time, and they know that. So I think as a direct result, what's happening is they're getting brave and chucking everything at the works. And one of the things which I think we're going to see more and more of is these power outages. And it isn't difficult to get power outages if you rely on solar or wind. What's wrong with building a few more coal-powered fire stations or a good nuclear power station that actually works? Because people might say, oh my god, they're dangerous. No, they're not, if they're looked after properly, which is what we're supposed to do and the government's supposed to do on our behalf. Do they? Who only knows. So while we're on this tour, we're meeting some great people, sharing some great stories, and we are in a position at the moment that we are really, really starting to, I guess from my side, get my head around why we're on this journey, and to get my head around why we're meeting the people we are, to look at who we are meeting, the farmers we're going out to interview, which are talking about the challenges they see, how they see government initiatives. People say, farmers have always taken the money. Well, they don't always take it because they have to. More to the point that they have to, not need to, I will say, because farming's a hard game. And for those who don't understand, that farming on any level is difficult, I think they're rather naive, to be honest. I know from my escapades in, breeding turkeys and rearing pigs and keeping sheep and, Sheep are a classic example. You know, they get up in the morning, they only have one desire, and that's to work out how to die that day. That's what sheep do. You know, pigs, if they break the fence, will never go 2 foot from where they, you know, get fed because they're scared they'll miss out on dinner. Turkeys, you know, they all bring their different challenges. And we see this whether it's people growing vegetables, and people say to me, you know, how do you keep your pests away from your veg? Well, that's not that difficult. Pests only attack stressed plants. So if you've got no stress on your plants, if they've got plenty of moisture in the ground, they've got plenty of nutrition, plenty of goodness, then the bugs simply don't attack them. And that's one of the things which we're trying to get through to people on this journey. You know, the farmers we're talking to, is about the natural side of this. Now, you may have seen the video the other day we did with Paul from Bramblebee Farm with his dairy cows. Now, one of the things I don't think was covered in the video we spoke about is line. Paul and I actually pulled a couple of cow pats, you know, something you do on a daily basis, pull cow pats together. And we pulled the cow pats together, and Paul was showing me all the dung beetles that are now in there and the goodness those things do to the soil. So they actually take a cow pat, a lump of poo, cow poo, and over the course of days, they eat it and digest it all and turn it into natural fluffy compost, which then blows about the field and spreads the seed, and you end up with a great system of nature. And unfortunately, what we've found is that over the course of the years, that's been put to bed for the use of chemicals and fertilizers, which are not good for the soil. So where we are this morning, we've been down here, and this field behind us is one of the ones which potentially could be farmed. It's sitting in a lathe program at the moment, but there's 13 acres of field. There's a great big shed behind us which would make a great farm shop. And the farmer's keen to know more about how it all fits together, so I've been telling him about why we're here, what we're doing, and looking at the whole ethos of what we're about as an organisation. So you'll know we've now set up the CIC, finally got control of the Lloyd's bank accounts now. We've got that all in place, everything's done with that. And the next thing for us is to start the proper fundraising. And within that, you know, we need people to come on board who want to raise funds, whether that's, you know, doing a car boot sale, whether that's running a country fair, you know, a stall at a country fair to promote this. And what we want to achieve from this is to end up with the CIC being an educational program system that can train kids how to get into farming, train kids how to look after animals, how to make rhubarb jam, whatever it might be. So we have decisions to make as a collective audience that we either stand alone or we stand together. And I think we're running out of time not to stand together. So for all those who have got to the end of the video, thank you very much. If you have not seen Katie Hopkins, please watch it. If you have not seen page 4 of The Sun the other day when Jeff buys cars, got himself told off for talking about chemtrails, as you can see today, no chemtrails. It's an interesting time to be alive, guys. For all of those who have kindly donated to get us this far, and I say we're down in Stroud today for a speech tonight before we head to Cardiff, before Bedford, Wendover and everywhere else. For those who have donated, thank you very much. For those who'd still like to keep us on the road and get us doing more of this, then the bowlerhatfarmer.com, you'll be able to make a donation there. Thank you very much. And other than that, guys, I'm Mark Byford, and I'll see you later.